Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name's Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. It is Monday, March 15th. Hope you guys had a great weekend. We didn't have such a bad one here. Got a lot of things done. Left some things on the table, though. We'll talk about that towards the end of the podcast. I do want to thank Paul Faustini for becoming our latest patron over at patreon.com/ordinary marathoner. Thanks for supporting the show, Paul. Really appreciate it. And as we appreciate all of the patrons who have signed up and registered. Again, if you sign up, you get your name right on the podcast, depending what tier that you sign up for. And we'll also add your name to the scroll at the end of the YouTube show. So you'll see Paul's name at the end of the show. Nick, I know you're listening. I know you're going to check up on me. Make sure I add Paul's name at the end. All right, please hold me accountable. I cannot be trusted. But yeah, thank you, Paul, and thank you to all the patrons who have gotten involved. It's been we appreciate it a lot. It definitely helps us out. So thank you. Wow. Friday's show, man. Friday's show got a lot of responses. We titled the show, do you guys think I'm pessimistic? Lesson learned. Never ask a question in the title, because you know what? You're gonna get answers. But with all due respect, you guys were very respectful. I shouldn't have said with all due respect, but sometimes just stuff comes out of my mouth. You know, it's not the right thing to say. But you guys were very respectful in your responses. Super supportive, as always. This is what I come to expect from you guys, you know. But sometimes I never know where I'm going to get the responses, when I'm going to get the comments. Everyone was, really supportive and positive, and yeah, I loved it. I loved hearing from people that, people whose names I've seen before, but don't necessarily reach out to me. And sometimes you touch a nerve, or you say something that just, that elicits a response. So I thank all the people that did respond after listening to Friday's podcast. It was really cool. But in the bottom line is, yeah, apparently I'm pessimistic. Apparently I am. I'm going to give you proof that I'm not, though. All right. I'm going to give you a little proof that I'm not. This morning I got up and I came downstairs to do the podcast, like I always do every day. And Monday morning, especially, I'm normally superstitious. I am extra superstitious on a Monday morning, always looking for signs to say, hey, you know what? This is going to be a good week. This is going to be a bad week. What are the little signs? What is life telling me? What is the crystal ball saying? I got downstairs. I turned on the light. Now I have this special light here. You guys can kind of see. I don't know. You can kind of tell that my hand's a little bit if you're watching the YouTube channel. It's sort of like a photographer's light. I'm sure there's a special word for it that I don't know. And, it makes it, I hope it kind of brightens things up in here so it doesn't look like look as much like I'm in my basement. I know what you guys are thinking. Yeah, you stereotypical people like, there he is podcasting from his mom's basement. No, my basement. This is just where I choose to do the podcast. And Steph got me that nice little sign in the back too, so I love it. But I do have the light here to kind of brighten things up so it's not like dark in here. Every day I come down, turn on the light, do the podcast every Monday, Wednesday, Friday now for like the last almost 2 months now, right? We've been really good on that schedule. I turn on the light, nothing, no light. Light doesn't go on. About 5 seconds pass. I'm like, what is going on? Now I hear this loud pop, like I was actually pretty close. That's kind of what it sounded like that. And I was like, I know that's not good. Followed almost immediately by a smell of smoke. Like thick smoke too. Like it was like, it was fire smoke. And I'm like, oh my God, electricity and smoke, bad sign. I unplugged the light. It has a cover on it. So I took the cover off and the smoke just came piling out. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to run out of here. Cause this thing's on a post. I'm going to have to run out of here with this light on a post that's on fire so that my house doesn't burn down. But that didn't happen. The smoke kind of dissipated a little bit. And then I had to make a decision, is this like an electrical problem? Is this going to cause a fire, or is this just a light bulb that needs to be changed? So I took out the old light bulb, which was actually, I took it out before the smoke, or because of the smoke. I took it out, put it to the side. I grabbed my only replacement light bulb and I put it in there hoping that it was just going to work. And I flicked the switch and ta-da, light goes on. So there's two ways to look at it. I could sit here and tell you I got up, and the thing that I relied on for 2+ years, ever since I started this podcast indoors, that I've had this equipment, I've relied on that light bulb for 2+ years. Failed me. It failed me. That is a bad sign. I could look at it that way, or I could say, this is a fresh bulb, a bright new sunny day, rays of hope, rays of light, new rays of light shining down, making this world a little bit brighter than when I used the old bulb. So, see, I told you, optimism, guys. This is what you've done. You've changed me. You've changed me over a weekend. All right, I appreciate that. But I got to tell you, I appreciate people taking the time out of their schedules and things to write me. And mostly it was super supportive and kind. And I love that, because to be honest, I try to be that way for other people. When I assess what other people are doing in terms of workouts, especially when they're upset and they're reflecting kind of disappointment in the things that they've done, I feel like I try to be positive for them, supportive for them. And, it comes back in a way, it does come back to, we talked we've talked a few podcasts now about this. I think this concept of, don't chase trains. And again, I didn't know what that meant. I kind of thought it was weird, but then I listened to the story and I was like, oh, maybe that makes sense. So the concept of not chasing trains is, your train leaves at 3:00. You get there at 3:01. You're on the platform. The train is taking off. You've missed it. How do you react? There are people that will stand on that train, on that platform, and they will scream at that train. And I was like, mother, I can't believe the train left without me. I can't believe, stomp their feet, get very angry, and just stand there, just mad. That's not really the way to do things, right? The way to do things is to say, hey, that's my fault. I'm 1 minute late. I was late. I am the one that was late. That is on me. Now, the current problem is I'm supposed to be on that train going to that destination. Now I have to get to that destination, but this train is not an option. Now we need to go resolve this problem. We have to come up with other options to get where we need to go. I like that analogy. I like that analogy a lot. And I find myself using that a lot, especially with clients and with people who are, have a workout and they get disappointed. And they say, hey, because you can't redo the workout. I can't bring back Thursday's run when I got really upset and it made me kind of appear pessimistic on the podcast. I can't, and really I had another crappy run on Friday, but we're not even talking about that. I can't take those back. I can't redo them. I can't start all over again. All I can do is take a look at it, analyze it, and say, hey, let's try to is this something I need to improve on? What were the things that I could have done differently, prepared differently, had a different outlook or different goals in mind? What were my major impediments? Analyze. And I think that's kind of where it comes off the rails, I think, in translation between whether or not I'm being pessimistic. I think in reality, what I am is I'm very self-critical. I analyze myself. I'm reflective. I like to look at things and say, all right, was this a success? Was this a failure? What could I have done better? Always, though, trying to be better, to be faster, to be more productive, to strive for better results, right? I mean, that's what you never want to kind of take the foot off the gas, right? You never want to say, all right, I'm not going to try. And I think that comes off sometimes as being pessimistic. And I don't know if it's pessimism though. It's more being highly self-critical, which I do think that over the course of a long haul, over the course of a long period of time, being that way, being very self-critical and competitive, you never want it to lead you somewhere where you contemplate quitting or contemplate giving up totally. It seems like the natural potential ending when you're too overly critical of yourself, right? So you never want to get that far with it, but you do want to productively kind of analyze and assess the situation, and then make little changes, whether it be changes in training, changes in your goals, or whatever it may be that you need to do to make things better. Now, for me, of course, there was also the FTP test that I took that was through the moon. I should have been really happy about, and I was, but I didn't really reflect that happiness either. I just said, I could have done better. I feel like I could have done better, and that's because inside, I feel like I could have done better. I do. I feel like I left a little on the table there. But again, I should be happy. And honestly, I am happy. I am happy that I have never been stronger on the bike than I was on Wednesday night. So all in all, I think, I do thank you guys for your messages and all the good words. It was really It was a little overwhelming, but it was nice to have conversations with people that I've never talked to before, and really good conversations. So thank you. And I'm trying to be a little bit more optimistic with things. I promise. Now, let's see. How did this past week go? The weekend go? Now, I knew, Friday, and we're not even talking about Friday's run. That's how optimistic I'm going to be. Last week was I did not live up to expectations in terms of the run. All right. Saturday, I knew we were going away. We were driving 3 hours to New Jersey, driving 3 hours back. The day was kind of shot, right? The day was kind of shot, and I could have woken up early and forced myself into a morning ride. And I decided that was not a bright idea, having to drive so much all day. And I should just let's just bag it, take the day off, take it as a recovery day, even though it's a weekend, and we'll make it up at a later time. We'll just try to do it differently, just accept the fact that this was going to happen. Okay, I've accepted that. And notice no pessimism. I'm embracing my rest day. The plan was that then I would come back on Sunday, and I would ride 2 to 3 hours on Sunday afternoon, and then I would do my long run today. Well, the best laid plans, things happen. We came in on Saturday night, having driven all that distance, and we went to bed. And I said to Steph, I said, let's kill the alarms today. Let's not put the alarms on. We'll get up when we get up, and we do this from time to time. You got to just try to make sure you get your sleep in. And so went to bed, and I slept like a baby. It was great. It was wonderful. And I woke up, and Steph was rolling around. I said, "Hey," I said, "What time is it?" She looked at the watch. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. And there goes the day. We went to breakfast. Now, we never go. Even when we sleep in, we typically sleep in at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Then we'll roll out of bed. Usually we make breakfast, but we didn't have anything in the house. And we're just like, let's just go to breakfast today. Sunday, all our local diners, the ones that are right near us, they're closed. So we have to drive to the next neighborhood. We did that. And because it was late, church was just letting out, and the place was mobbed, and no other place is open. So the place that we go to is mobbed. I'm trying to be optimistic, guys. It's getting somewhere. Basically it pushed everything back. So I kind of expected that I would be done with breakfast by 9 o'clock and be able to do some work that I absolutely needed, some coaching work I needed to get done, that I'd be able to kind of ride at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then we had a board meeting at 7 for the Ordinary Marathoner Foundation. Sounds like a complete full day. It sounds like a good plan, but when you wake up at 10 o'clock and then you don't get back from breakfast until like 1 p.m., it kind of just throws everything off. So, I wound up, I didn't get it in. I didn't get the long ride in. We went at 7 o'clock and we had our board meeting. And just so you guys know, things are moving with the foundation, like really, really good things. I am not a meeting person. I don't like meetings. My experience with meetings were that they were largely a waste of time. And I've been in the workforce for 20 years, and I've sat in way too many meetings, way too many unproductive meetings. Typically, there are meeting people in your firm, probably. There's always meeting people. Let's have a meeting. And it's their job to have meetings and to go between people and talk to people. And if they didn't have these meetings, they wouldn't have a job. So they have to have these meetings. And it's their job to ask questions at these meetings, which means it's your job to answer them. Or it's your job to listen to somebody else answer them and just sit there. And at the end of their meetings, they make little, all right, good plan, good. Let's do action steps. Right. And then you write the action steps and then you meet again a month later and you go through the action steps and like 1 out of 10 are done. Right. That's typically the way these things work. And everyone's miserable and it's a waste of time and nothing ever gets done. In the end, nothing ever gets done except for the person that needs to have meetings has their meetings so that they can check off the box and ask their questions. And that's my experience with meetings is that I don't like meetings. If I can reduce the amount of meetings in my life, that would be good. That would be a positive thing. But our bylaws state that we need to have quarterly meetings. So we do so. And what I've learned is that, first of all, we don't even really need quarterly meetings. We talk all the time. Me and the board members talk all the time. And these meetings are they're a little bit formalities that we need to do. But honestly, after we had a 2-hour meeting last night, so 7 to 9, we sat there talking about the foundation, talking about all the things that we need to do and accomplish, things that we need to put in place, procedures, policies, things that normally in a business setting would drive me absolutely crazy. But because this is such a passion project and everyone there just is doing this because they believe in it and because it's fun. It's fun. The 2 hours went by. It felt like it maybe a half an hour. It really did. It felt like, we're doing such good things that it just went by like that. So it was like a good, I don't know, guys, good things are happening on the foundation front, and just stay tuned. We're going to have more news about the Ordinary Marathon next week. We've got a lot of really cool plans that I hope we can put into action. The race will be May 6th through May 17th. So if you want to mark your calendars, May 6th through May 17th will be the Ordinary Marathon for this year. If you haven't got registered, go and get registered. By the way, thank you for everyone. I got to get on this, but I asked you guys to fill out your race schedules on the Team Ordinary page, and we got lots and lots of responses. So I got a lot more people, a lot more races to fill on the page. Thank you guys for sending in the race. Even though Jen Bergstrom, you didn't send the city and state when I asked you to. You give me some work to do, but that's good work. Again, we want to build that out. We want to be able to kind of see the races that are happening and see you guys earning your medals. You deserve it. You deserve the recognition. It's nice to kind of get our sport back. So thank you all for taking the time, going to that race calendar and plugging in your races. Again, if you're on Team Ordinary, you want to do that, by all means, go to teamordinary.com. If you don't know if you're on the team, check the list of the people on the team, of the roster, and if your name is there, then you're on the team. So send in your race calendars. If your name isn't there and you want to be added, join the team. There's links on the page to do that as well. So thank you. By the way, the gray hats, those are all sent. I delivered all the gray hats. I'm feeling pretty good, man. See, optimism, feeling good, getting things done, even enjoying my meetings, guys. This is optimism. This is the optimism show. Anyway, got done with our meeting on Sunday night. It ended about 9:15, and then I'm sitting there and I'm like, I had to do some tasks. I had to do a couple more things. It was probably about 10:45, and I said to myself, I haven't done my ride today. And it was bothering me. It was really, really bothering me. Like, the thought of going through an entire weekend. And I have clients that do this from time to time, and we always have the conversation. Like, the weekend rides are important. They're important to stretch out your endurance. It's important to work on that part of your racing. That's what's going to make you better. That's what's going to get you. That's what's going to make it so you're not surviving your race, but you're racing your race. You want to race your race. You don't want to survive your race. You want to race your race. You want to know what to do. You want to have a good plan. You want to know how things feel. You need those experiences in order to feel comfortable on race day. So when you miss an entire weekend, it could be detrimental. And I hate to be pessimistic, optimistic. I know that for me, I didn't want to miss a whole weekend. So at 11 o'clock, I went upstairs. I put on my bike shorts, and I came back down, and I jumped on the bike. And I rode for about an hour and 20 minutes. I got off right around 12:30. And it checked the box. It wasn't the greatest workout. It wasn't I wanted to do a long ride, which would have been 2 to 3 hours. So I didn't necessarily accomplish the goal that I set. But I felt like, and it's going to sound like I'm patting myself on the back a little bit. Maybe I am. But I felt like it took a degree of toughness to jump on the bike at 11 o'clock at night, knowing that I'd be riding past midnight, and knowing that it would just put my mind at ease that I didn't let the entire weekend go through without doing anything in terms of training. I could have certainly gotten through the day and went back to bed after my meeting and just woke up today and said, all right, new day. Don't chase trains. Don't be, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to try my best to get something done. And I feel, as much as it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, I feel like I got something done. I got something. And that's better than nothing. That's optimism. Optimism. Happy Optimism Day, guys. Looking forward to this week, actually. So this week, now, because I went through this weekend, I didn't really do I didn't get the long distance done. I'm not going to sweat it. Now, again, analyze it and say, hey, you know what? You should have done it. You should have been able to fit it in there somewhere. I had trouble. Things came up. Some of it was family related. Some of it was business related. That's what happens. That's what happens. Things get in the way, right? Things get in the way. I can do one of two things. I can either try to force it and make it up a little bit, or I can just kind of flip the page and say, hey, this was what it is. What's the best way? The train left the station. What's the best way to pick it up right now? And I got a call earlier from a client who was doing a long ride today, and she said that her plans got kind of changed and that she's going to have to do it indoors. And I said, I'll join you. So 2:30 today, I'm going to hop on the bike. I'm going to be doing at least 2 hours, if not more, depending on a certain couple other factors. But I'm excited to do that. And I like, what I like is the spontaneity and the ability to be able to say, yes, I can do that. I can do that. I can join you with that. As opposed to saying, it's nice. I tell you, that having a Zwift option is really cool as a coach, because I can do things like this. I can say, hey, client, here's a client who's had a little bit of a wrench thrown in the works and the schedule is changing, and what can she do to fix it? Calm down. Let's go for a ride. Let's just go do it. So that's what we're going to do at 2:30 today. And that's going to be, granted, when I look at the structure of my last week, it's been a bit of mayhem. It really has. It's been a little all over. The running that has been so solid this year so far has really last week fell off. It fell off. But what can you do about it at this point? You can't do nothing. Can't do nothing. Can't do anything about it. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, be productive going forward. I've got some 5 a.m. workouts coming up this week that I got to get back on that. I got to get back on that ball, right? And opportunities are there. You kind of just here's the apple. It's there. 5 a.m. apple. You just got to get up and grab it. And so hopefully this week turns out and that's what I'm doing, guys. See, again, if I was to sit here and dwell on it and look at my weekend and look at the things that I did versus the things I didn't do, or I wanted to do things I wanted to get done that never got done, I could sit here and mire in it and be pessimistic. I can say, look, I didn't get my 5 a.m.s done. I'm never going to get them done again. I'm worthless. Or I could say, hey, there's nothing I can do. Those days are gone. I missed those days. That's it. That's it. Look ahead. 5 a.m. tomorrow. Starts fresh. Start again. Do it again. And if I miss tomorrow, then you look again. All right? But you can't have like a constant rotating. That would be frustrating. Otherwise, just always looking forward and never doing anything. But these are opportunities. There are opportunities there. And that's optimistic, to look ahead, look at the opportunities, and then try to seize them. Try to seize them when you can. So yeah, I'm going to try to take this opportunity today to ride with my client and get a long ride in when I missed it over the weekend. And then I'm not going to do a long run. That ship has sailed. We're going to move forward to the next week. All right. So I'm a potential, an optional Tuesday afternoon run, a Wednesday morning run, a Friday night run, and then we're on Sunday long run, back on the schedule. That sounds good. That sounds productive. That sounds, say it with me, optimistic. There you have it. Again, if you want to become a patron of the show, go to patreon.com/ordinarymarathoner and you get your name added to the scroll that you're going to see in about 3 seconds. And remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.